Welcome back in to the first episode of Kings of Tampa. My name is Alex, joined with my amazing host.
I'm not your host, but I'm Trevor Rundgren. So.
Okay, and
T-Pain.
Awesome. Yeah, so we're just gonna be spitballing our experience moving from Connecticut, Wisconsin, and California all the way down to Tampa. Boys, how are we all feeling today? Today's election day as well, so how are we all feeling?
Trevor voted for the chameleon.
I voted for Kamala. White dudes for Kamala. I'm kidding.
Or is he?
We can talk about that if we want.
Yeah, that
could
one
be
can
another
get
topic.
spicy. That one can get spicy.
I definitely can. But before we jump into all that, this video is sponsored by SeatGeek. Use the link in the description.
Also Starbucks and Kirkland Coconut Water.
And Bass Pro
Bass Pro
Shops.
Shop.
No,
Yeah,
all jokes aside though.
Get your firearms, boys.
All jokes aside though, we're just gonna start talking a little bit about just our experience. If we're all online entrepreneurs, we'll get into that at some point. But even if you're not into business or whatever, we kind of just want to talk about like what it's like moving to a different location, a location you've never been to. We visited Tampa. You guys want to actually start off about how we even know each other?
Yeah. So we met in a group. We met in an online business group. And basically I was going to move down to Florida, and I was like, hey, I'm going to check out Florida, scope it out, find some places to live. And we were just masterminding separately from that group. We just kind of connected. And
we were all running different businesses at that point, so give them some context.
Yes, well, they were business partners. They were business partners. And then John, who will be on the podcast soon. He was my business partner, and he lives about an hour south of where we are now. And we just started connecting, masterminding, doing all that stuff outside of the group. And then one day I was like, yo, boys, I'm going to go down to Tampa, check it out. I'm going to move there in a few months. You guys want to come? We'll do a little mastermind, little vacation. And they're like, sure. So we all came down, connected, stayed in Airbnb, and then we went apartment shopping, apartment hunting a few months later, and now we're in Tampa. But yeah, I'm curious about your guys' brief experience in moving to Tampa from where you are originally. So Alex, Connecticut to Tampa.
Yeah, so it's funny because just for reference, we, like Tyler had mentioned, we all ran online businesses, so we can pretty much work from anywhere we want. But the concept and the idea initially came from meeting Tyler, and then we networked and talked about moving down here. I initially wasn't ready to move down, not because I couldn't do it financially or whatever, just because like I didn't know what the situation would be like leaving my girlfriend who'd also lived in Connecticut. I don't know if we wanted to move in sooner, whatever the case may be, but it got to the point after just some just tough conversations that like we both needed to move, her and myself, just for a new experience, and just took the leap of faith. And oftentimes the best decisions are behind doors.
Was she working a job at the time?
She also worked online. Yeah.
Oh, online.
Yeah, she also worked online, but her mom.
So that's easy.
But her sister just had a child as well too, so her family's all there. Her dad just moved from Costa Rica to here too. My girlfriend's Costa Rican. But a lot of times the best decisions are behind doors that are kind of tough to open. I have family that live in Fort Lauderdale, and I've always wanted to move down here, but I was like, I gotta wait until the right opportunity. Then I remembered I'm a guy, and it's my job to lead. So I started to look at it as an opportunity. Yeah. I started to realize this is an opportunity for me to lead, and surely enough, my girlfriend also moved down here with her mom. The experience itself was great. Drove from Connecticut to Tampa with my mom and brother in a Tesla. Shout out to my dad's moving company that moved most of my stuff. And Trevor.
Well, I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in a middle-class family, so it kind of, the problem with living in a middle-class family is it breeds complacency. And that's the exact thing that I didn't want, because you're living enough to have a comfortable life, but that doesn't mean you're doing anything great or incredible with your life. And so moving out of my hometown, I simply saw it as a move to connect with people like yourselves here and much more people in the area that we're doing great things. And it's as simple as that. And I mean, there's other things like taxes and weather and stuff, but
No more snow.
yeah, but
but just
those are
hurricanes.
minor reasons.
Yeah.
So just wanted to grow. And I think moving out of your hometown as a young man is probably one of the best things you can do, because you put yourself out of your comfort zone and you partake in a new environment where you're going to get challenged and forced to be better.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I moved out of California because it's becoming very communist. There's homeless people everywhere. You gotta protect yourself, and didn't feel like I had the right abilities to protect myself in California. And yeah, my family's all there. I did not want to raise a family there though. Hopefully within the next 5 years or so, start my own family. And yeah, same thing. Taxes, bad. Yeah, and I also drove here in my little Nissan 350Z, like 2,700 miles. That was a trip over 3 days. That was crazy. It was a fun experience though. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. I got to see I got to see the entire U.S., which was really cool. Yeah. So that's it. But I want to stay on that topic of moving out of your hometown in pursuit of success. And like you said, I think a lot of that is like complacency, where people will just stick with what they know because they're afraid of the unknown, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like people are on like a really good example, like people are on dating apps because they're afraid to talk to people in real life, right? And it's like people are online because they're afraid of living life, really. And people watch these movies and TV shows because they are afraid to actually live, and they're living vicariously through someone else because they want those experiences, but they don't want to go out and pursue them themselves. And so I think a lot of that moving out of your hometown, like you said, breeds complacency within your hometown, staying. So when you move across the country, when you go do something that gets you out of your comfort zone, that is when good things start to really happen. That's when you start to make moves, you start to make more money. Like, I know just surrounding myself with like-minded people and people doing better than me, like that has really challenged me, raised my standards, like all these things, because we always fall to our standards, right? Like, I know, Alex, I was talking to you about that the other day, raising standards. I was like, dude, I realized my standard is way too low. Like, my standard needs to be higher, because I was pushing, so I was falling a little bit above my standard, but I was still like, bro, my standard needs to be way higher than this.
Well, I mean, us as humans, we're always designed to do the easiest thing. Like, we're innately lazy. And so, if you're trying to do anything great with your life, that's kind of a recipe for disaster. And so, as a byproduct of that, I mean, you're going to be lazy most of the time, try to look for the easiest option, but it's important when you do big things like moving out of your hometown that you do the thing that's not easy, as that will have much more effects down the line. And so it's kind of just a situation where you can't do the easy option of just staying in your hometown or your situation. You put yourself out of your comfort zone, you go to a new city, you try new things, you meet new people, which is technically uncomfortable, but if you're trying to do great things, it's what you must do.
100%.
Yeah, I think for me, the concept of waiting for the right opportunity and just making the opportunity at the right time started to really seep in. I think, was it you that I was watching one of your reels? Your most recent one last night, you said something really good. You were like, oh, what did you say? You were like,
It was about
life happens to you
Yeah.
instead of making, what did you say? You wrote the script,
Well,
so what was the quote?
Yeah, I mean, 90% of people go through life and life just happens to them. They watch the news, they watch stuff, and then when things happen to them, they're like, oh my God, my life sucks. And when good things happen to them, they're like, oh, my life is great. But you have to take control at a certain point.
That's what it was. That's the realization I had. It's like, bro, like, it's like no one's gonna come save me. I gotta go out there and take action. And it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy, but that's the whole point, you know. Something I wanted to as I was thinking, something I want to talk to you guys about is like Tampa itself, right? Like, what were we thinking? Because I know I had floated the idea of maybe going to Miami on the East Coast. Why did we all settle kind of with Tampa?
John told me that it was a place to be right now for young entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking into it more, and then I was like looking at people in the space, and I noticed a common theme, like people were in Tampa and different stuff like that. And I was like, oh, this is the place to be. Like for me, it was either Texas or Florida, and I like the beach, so it was Florida. And then, okay, now where in Florida? Like you said, Miami. It just reminds me too much of LA. I don't like the crowd. It's too much. It's too much. And yeah, then John was like, dude, Tampa's it. And I mean, obviously, as you can see, it's very up and coming, and they're building a lot of stuff, building a lot of infrastructure. And the next 5 years, it's going to be a big hub, big hub.
Yeah, and we also went to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like we were when we went apartment shopping in Tampa and we were looking around and stuff. We went to Miami for like, I think it was a Heat game and then dinner and whatnot.
The $900 dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
But you know, based on the people we talk to and the people that we know, it's like you said, it's like Miami's almost a cesspool of materialistic stuff, partying,
OF models.
OF models, cars, all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, I mean that can be good in certain circumstances, but we, at least this is what I think, especially as Christians, we all kind of saw Tampa as an opportunity to get the same vibe and the same infrastructure, where you're close to beaches, you have a good city, you have people doing well, etc. But you also can, and this is part of why we're doing this podcast, is you can become a leader in that city.
Yeah.
And set the standard the right way. Whereas like if we went to Miami, we'd have to fight up to the top, and then we have to like try to reverse the standard. It's just a mess. And so we can kind of almost like influence this city specifically for the right things.
Right.
Yeah. Tampa has the beaches, St. Pete, Clearwater. It has the people, like from Connecticut to here. A couple big differences.
You've already met a handful of people too from Connecticut.
Yeah.
Here now. Like,
Yeah, and
common.
New York, Massachusetts area. It seems like the Northeast is just this hustle bustle. Everyone's just going about their own way. While down here, everyone just seems like, it feels like everyone's like, no matter their age or how they look, it feels like everyone here is just in this peaceful, like fever dream where, you know, people are running on the streets. They look healthy. This is the healthiest group of people I've ever seen in my life. I've been lucky enough to travel all across the world, but people are always running. They're in shape. People are just generally nicer. And then the biggest thing is like, it feels like every other corner or anywhere we turn, we're meeting some type of entrepreneur. We go to Run Club, there's an entrepreneur. There's people in our apartment building, entrepreneurs that we just know everywhere. You go to get food somewhere, entrepreneurs are there. So it's like church is a big one. A lot of entrepreneurs at church.
Like big players too.
Absolutely.
Not just like little, I make $5K a month online as a side hustle. Like big players. Yeah.
So the same reason why a lot of people go to LA to influence their movie or acting careers, the same reason why we came down here is to be a part of something special. And like Trevor hit on the head here, like it's such a developing city. It has the beaches, it has the mainstream city, it has everything in between. And it's not nearly as expensive and chaotic and just, at least not yet. So our goal with this podcast, as you can see, is to kind of just spread awareness to this amazing city, get to meet some other people. But yeah, I've been loving it so far. What's been like one experience we've all kind of had since, because it's been about 3 months at the time of this recording, it's been about 3 months since we moved down here. What's everyone's like favorite experience so far, or memorable?
Dude, church group has been lit.
Yeah.
Like you said, all the connections and all the people, and it's just like I never had that. So
Community,
that's
man.
awesome.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're alone right now, wherever you are, come down here, man. There's a community for everybody, even in St. Pete or Clearwater, no matter where you go in Tampa. That's really nice.
St. Pete, depending on what age you are.
Yeah.
St. Pete's a little bit older. St. Pete's a little bit older. A little bit older, a little bit more left leaning. Yeah,
some
but
other young crowd there. Yeah. That's a good one, dude.
Yeah.
That's one for me.
Yeah, I agree. Like, yeah, definitely just community, just anything with community. So the church group, the church itself, I just started helping out at the church, which obviously I just did it once, but that's been cool.
It's really nice, sorry to cut you off, but it's really nice to have connections to people that are big players within 10, 15 minutes.
Yep.
You can go there, you can go there, you can go there, you can go there. It's like
100%.
you just knowing people is sick.
100%. Yeah, and yeah, even like the the cold plunge party that you and I went to, like that was so much fun. Like I haven't had that much fun in a long. I obviously haven't been to parties really since like high school and stuff. So, the last few years been locked in, locked in and just grinding. But to go to a party where it's like people aren't getting drunk and just getting wasted, like, but it's going to a party where it's like people want to meet other young people, make connections, build relationships, whether that's friendships or looking for.
And they were raising capital for a good cause.
Yeah, they're raising capital for hurricane relief. Everybody there was healthy. It was like coffee and cold plunge, and everybody's getting sun. Everyone's in bathing suits. Like that. That is so cool to me. Like just that community, because it's like when I would go to parties and stuff, like dude, everybody's getting drunk and like smoking weed. I'm like, dude, it's just I'm good. Like I'm good. So it's cool to have that community and that party aspect in a non-degenerate way. I think is really cool.
Yeah, I think my favorite experience has just been the ability to just do so many things, like fun / healthy things.
Yeah.
Like I hate running, but the few times we've gone to run club has been good.
Yeah.
I like knowing that we could go to some of the best beaches in the United States here. Clearwater is amazing.
Within an hour.
Yeah, literally really close.
Yeah.
I just like knowing that the environment I'm in breeds happiness. And it also is nice seeing some of the luxury houses and vehicles that keep us striving for more, right? Like Trevor mentioned, complacency is a real struggle in the middle class. You're always looking to work harder here because you just see people just doing amazing things, and it seems so attainable down here, But yeah, I think that's been really good. Is there anything about Tampa you guys don't like so far?
Well, the problem is that there's so many people coming here, and the infrastructure is lacking a little bit, like the brick roads.
Yeah.
Some of the brick roads
We're
here.
not even in Tampa though.
Yeah.
No, we are. We're in Tampa.
Yeah, but we're not in Tampa.
We're not in downtown Tampa,
Yeah.
but we're in the city.
They don't
of
have
Tampa
brick
still.
roads in downtown.
Right. But yeah, we're in suburbs, but still.
Yeah, the infrastructure.
But still, even downtown, the infrastructure is when there's a lot of but obviously it wasn't built for that. So I would say that would be one thing. Honestly, the only downside from moving here from California is the mosquitoes. That's the only problem I have.
Yeah.
Everything else is great.
I'd also add the beaches, because you have beaches in St. Pete and Clearwater, and you have a couple decent beaches in Tampa, but it's really because Tampa's a little bit more inland.
Well, it's a bay. It's a port.
It's a bay.
It's not.
Exactly.
It's not a beach. Yeah.
And so you don't have the craziest beach life in the world, but
Right.
I mean, we can drive 30 minutes to get it.
But the problem is, if you go to those places where they do have the beach life, then you don't have the hustle entrepreneur of Tampa. So you pick one or the other. That's the problem.
Yeah.
What about you, Alex?
Yeah. The one thing I don't like so far would probably be the infrastructure. I'm not in Connecticut. I don't know what traffic is. Like traffic is like maybe a seat on the highway at like 5 o'clock for like an hour when everyone's leaving work. But you can go at any point of the day. There's a good amount of traffic depending on where you're driving. Again, if you're in the heart of the city, you probably don't really need a vehicle that much. That's like the one thing. But nowhere is perfect. If that's my biggest issue, then it's fine. But other than that, we've been enjoying it so far. I think another thing I wanted to ask your opinion on, I don't think we've even really talked about this, but who would you say, because I think it's kind of just understood amongst us, but who would you say is the perfect type of avatar person that should come down to Tampa? Is it just entrepreneurs, or what type of person do you think would benefit the most from coming down and living here?
Well, honestly, anyone that's trying to have a better version of life, if you have a job and you have the opportunity to work remote or to get relocated, that would be good.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, yeah, if you're a young entrepreneur, specifically online, it's the place to be for sure. Or even just trying, work a job, make a bunch of money, save up a fat stack of cash, and then just come down here and figure it out. Like, I've done that multiple times in my life where I've just like made a bunch of money from what I was doing and then just moved on to the next thing with a good base behind me and just figured it out. And I think that type of person succeeds because they're put in an environment that breeds success. So
Yeah, I mean, the way that I see it is like, and this is what I even say in my coaching program, is like, do some sort of online work, whether it's sales or it's starting
Like a
your own business, something. Literally just like get to the point where you're making 3 to 5K per month remote. Because then you check off the first box of freedom, which is location. And then with that,
and 3 to 5K a month will earn you survival.
yeah, exactly.
So then you go from there. Then you build.
And then you move out of your hometown and you stop being a little baby, and you move out. You come to a place like this. It's gonna force you to grow even harder, and then go from there. Take over the world.
You actually are allowing us to segue into the next topic I want to talk about because we're just free flowing right now, which is what do we all do to be able to pay the bills and stuff.
OnlyFans management.
OnlyFans. I work at Walmart.
I work at a gas station.
Yeah, dude. This is a great question. So, for reference, been on the online space for quite some time. Really quick backstory. 2020 started selling digital products online as an affiliate marketer.
When you slap that table, it might the mic. It might
Oh,
be
yeah.
like the mic.
Yeah.
And just Trevor just ear raped him.
So started online in 2020 as an affiliate marketer, selling digital courses online. Used TikTok to grow that organically. Transitioned into coaching with this guy here. We started up a coaching business, scaled it up pretty well. Since then, we've disbanded that, and now what I do is affiliate marketing again, but for products with TikTok. So e-com, dabbled in a little bit of FBA. We'll revisit that down the line, but right now, the opportunity happening with TikTok Shop as an affiliate, and then the people being able to build businesses off of that is ridiculous right now. So to put a bow on it, TikTok Shop affiliate, and looking to build on top of that, and really grow a brand or a company helping other brand owners expand and grow with TikTok. So that's what I do now.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, I was 18 years old, not a ton of money, middle class family. And like for some reason at 18, I just got this insane desire to be great. It was probably because like I was going through puberty and
being a man, it just kind of happens.
well, and I downloaded TikTok. I remember it, and I was like watching videos on how to make money online, and I was just getting so pissed off because there were these people that were like 16 to 20. Making like 10, 15, 20 grand a month. I'm like, how is this even possible? Because up until that point, I thought you had to do the traditional path, work a job, go to college, all that. So started looking into ways to make money online, did a little bit of drop shipping, did a little bit of affiliate marketing, did a little bit of appointment setting, partnered up with this guy, did a little bit of sales, did more appointment setting, did a mixed bag of stuff in that business. It started off as an agency, and then it kind of transitioned to coaching because we were...
You were doing done for you, right?
We were doing done for you. So we were writing content for people for how to grow their business. Basically like a SMMA, if you want to think of it that way. Transitioned into doing coaching. And for me, I just got this... it was actually when we hired Fabio. Mm-hmm. And I tell him this all the time. Like when I started working with him, teaching him how to do appointment setting, I got this this passion for working with that same type of person, young men who are looking, they're kind of like the beginner, maybe they've tried a couple different business models and they're looking to find something that actually works and sticks, and they're willing to put in the work, they're willing to do the more like boring business model, which is sales, but it actually works, you know, and that's a whole nother conversation, but now that's what I do. So I basically coach young men, I run a program, teach you guys how to learn the skill of sales, then how to land a position, make money, and then hopefully once you start making a little bit, you can come to Tampa.
Nice. Yeah, well my dad's business owner, so I've always grown up entrepreneurial, and I was kind of just thinking like I was going to work with him and continue doing that. And then I got in the space, and obviously that's in the financial services space, and that's tough because it's like you're 18 and they're like, dude, what do you know about finances? I'm like, I know a lot more than you because
Bro,
you
that
were
used to
broke.
that happens to everyone. I
Yeah,
think.
it's
Like that happened to Alex and I all the time in our
yeah,
agency.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
What do you know about making videos?
yeah. It's like, what? Then why are you here? Like, it worked on you. Like, you're here right now. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. But so that was tough. But yeah, so I did that, and basically I just started marketing myself online and running ads and doing content and all that. And then other people were asking me like, how are you doing this? How are you running ads? How are you doing getting clients? How are you making content? So then I started teaching other people, and then they started paying me for it. And the same thing I was doing done for you in the beginning. Then I started teaching people how to do it. Then I found a passion with fitness and health coaches, working with only fitness and health coaches, helping them grow their online coaching, fitness, health coaching business. Did that for about a year and a half. That's when I partnered with John, who was down here in Florida, who I mentioned earlier. And then, and then we kind of got unfulfilled with that. Started doing some other things. We were making good money, but it was just, I mean, you guys were kind of in the same space. We're making good money, but just the time and ad spend and
Felt like a job.
energy. Yeah, it was just like we were making decent money, but we were working too much for our skill level and such. So yeah, so did that, and then now the last few months I've been focused on just going a little bit more broad with helping people with their personal brands. I'm going to be running a kind of seminar thing in a month here to a group of like 100 business professionals, real estate professionals. So that'll be cool. And then obviously going to do an offer with that, kind of like a webinar style thing. So I'm still doing personal brand, and then also this dude's got me into e-com. So we're doing personal brand stuff and e-com, and I guess just gonna see which one does really well. I'm still happy with doing both. The problem is you get torn between doing two things, and that's always tough. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's where we're at right now. That's how we make money.
Yeah, we're just all over the place, but as you can see, it kind of boils down to like high income skill set.
Yep.
With Trevor, sales.
Yeah.
I think marketing.
Marketing,
you probably
sales,
put marketing in there.
branding.
We're pretty much
What's
there.
funny is after I teach them sales for a couple months, I teach them copywriting.
Yeah.
I teach them marketing.
Which copywriting is just
Marketing.
sales written down on
marketing.
paper.
Mm.
Well,
It's
yeah.
just marketing.
It's or I should say not sales, persuasion. Which
Well,
is
sales and marketing are intertwined too.
Yep.
So
Which is more important, sales or marketing?
depends.
I would say marketing.
For an e-learning business, info product business, which is more important?
Because if your marketing is so good, you don't have to do sales.
At scale? You still don't think you have to do sales at scale?
You do.
I mean, it should be easy to do sales. I'm saying if your marketing is so good and it sells itself, then you have no need to do sales. Like, you know how many things I've bought that were educational stuff that like I never had a
You
sales
can make
call?
the same argument the opposite way though. You don't have to you remember we used to cold close leads for
Mhm.
10K?
Yeah, for sure. But the problem is you're offering like guarantees and stuff with that and done for you. So it's a different. Yeah, you definitely can do it.
I think they're
I'm just saying if
I
your
think
marketing
they're
is
pretty
good.
close. The one thing I will say actually, and this is coming from a person that teaches sales, so I'm kind of unbiased in this. I actually think marketing is more powerful at scale, and this is why we're doing things like creating a podcast and creating content. It's because when you're scaling a business with marketing, you can run a 9-figure business with one marketer.
Mm-hmm.
You can't run a 9-figure business with one salesperson. You need 5, 10, etc.
Right.
And so, if you're asking which one is more leveraged, well, marketing is. I think though, sales is an easier skill to learn, and I think it's actually better for a young man to learn specifically, especially if you're like slightly introverted or something like that, because it'll actually force you to get good at speaking. And so then once you do that, then you can pick up marketing and you can go crazy.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's yin and yang to me. Honestly, I think they're both like working together. You have a dominant business, you can't really go wrong. But I think marketing's like more times than not will edge out sales just ever so slightly. But to Trevor's point, like if you can learn sales, you can get into rooms with people that you wouldn't otherwise get into. you get in relationships and speak to certain people. Everything is pretty much sales, conversations, and certain relationships that you have boil down to your ability to sell yourself, sell your beliefs. So honestly, just learn both. Learn both, and you'll be set.
You have to start with one though.
Yeah, if I were to go back, and this is advice I think we can all agree on. The biggest, the topic I want to talk about now is like the biggest advice I'd give somebody up and coming, either already existing entrepreneurs that are new to the game or looking to get started, is that concept of honing in on one skill, whatever it is, and just getting really good at it. Because to Trevor's point, you think it's sales, somebody else might be watching this thinking it's copywriting. Whatever it is, just get really good at it and find a way to get in the rooms with people that need your skill. And that's something I'm learning. Do you guys have any like personal business like stories or experience you want to share that kind of speaks to that at all?
I mean, dude, the blueprint is really simple, honestly. It's like you pick a primary skill and you learn it. So copywriting or marketing or sales, you literally just fucking pick one. And then you find a business model that's correlated to that. So for marketing, it could be TikTok Shop because you're marketing a product. It could be copywriting. For sales, it could be, remote sales, appointment setting, closing, whatever. You do that for a couple months and you're gonna get really good, and then you actually like start making money. But then you don't stop there. Like you don't try and master that one thing and get perfect at it. Then you start stacking additional skills on top of that. And that's why that's how all of us have gotten really good at what we do. It's like we picked a primary skill first and then we attached a secondary skill, and then there's now third, fourth, fifth, sixth order skills that you learn on top of that.
Skill stacking.
Yeah. So like for me, I started off with sales. Then as I was working with you, like I had to learn marketing. I also had to learn closing, things like that. And now with running this business, I'm learning how to create content good. And so like if you're good at creating content, you're good at marketing, and you're good at sales, you can literally make money in any offer in any time period in history. It's like,
What do you guys say to the people that are like, I don't know which one, I'm not good at any. Like in school, I never, like nothing spoke to me.
You have to just learn one.
I mean,
But how do they pick one? Like which one do you go with?
you can think it through a little bit, but eventually you just have to pick one because you can't go wrong either way.
Yeah.
You'll be successful either way if you just pick one.
Yeah, I would say take what you're interested about, take what you're passionate about, because you can speak about that forever. Like think of the hobbies. Like I used to have saltwater aquariums, and guess what? I turned that into a business. We started like coral farms, and we were buying wholesale and growing stuff, and then cutting it up and then selling it, and like we were doing all that stuff. But that all started because of my passion and my hobby and what I was knowledgeable about, right? And I started doing that when I was 12, and I started selling coral when I was like 17, I think. I did it for like a year. But you have to start with what you're passionate about and then figure out how you can monetize that. And even if you don't ever make $1, even if you just learn how to put out content, you learn how to market, you learn how to attempt to sell, at least you're getting more at-bats, and that's all that matters. Yeah.
I actually disagree. I don't think your passion matters at all.
Well, if you want to
If
make
you're broke.
if you want to make money, then sure, yeah. But yeah, you could say that. You could just go learn sales then, and go become a setter or closer and start making money. That's cool too.
Yeah, and then once you have money, then there's a good chance that as you go through something like that, you're gonna find either not like a new passion, but just like it's gonna open more opportunities to find something that you're passionate about.
Definitely.
And your passions evolve over time. So sometimes in the
Definitely.
beginning, if you're broke, you just have to.
So what about the argument of the people that aren't passionate about what they do? It's easier for them to burn out or stop pursuing that
That
because
is
it's
true,
like,
because
hey,
I've been
I don't
there.
even enjoy this. Yeah, I'm making money, but if this isn't something I see myself growing in or even pursuing farther,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to start anew, learn something else different,
Yeah.
and then start climbing the ladder again. What would you say to that?
Boo.
Okay.
Yeah, Trevor's a little bit more of the incel type.
I would say more of
Trevor.
the he just like whatever.
The Sigma face.
The whatever type.
Yeah. No, Trevor doesn't care about his feelings at all, which is respectable because as a man you have to step into that sometimes. But also you have to give into it a little bit sometimes because you will drive yourself crazy if you don't.
Hmm.
Like if you want to be like there's a small part of you who wants to be a little bit degenerate, right? And so Trevor, you just I don't know what you do some dumb shit sometimes, and you just like pretend to be a streamer out in the wild, and he's just like screaming things. And you have to let that out because it'll stay bottled up inside of you if you don't, and then it'll bother you. So yes, because I have been there multiple times where it was like when I was doing the done for you stuff, I was like, dude, this is insane. Like I'm working way too much. I'm filming everybody's stuff, editing it, posting it for not enough money. This is ridiculous. Something needs to change. And so I think it's like that with Trevor, yeah, if I'm making money and doing sales, cool. But if I'm like, I hate this, then I need to figure out my next step, right? And I think that pushes you to figure out your next step. So yeah, starting off,
It's just an argument though, like you can only, like I think that's like a privilege to be able to do that. And you can only
do what you want.
Yeah. And you can only do that when you have an excess of money saved up.
That's true. That's
like,
true.
If you're doing something and you're still broke, you will not get burnt out.
Yeah.
Because you're still broke. And so you have to make it work.
Right.
It doesn't matter how you feel or anything like that. It's
because money is your motivator and not like
well, it's survival.
I
want to
do it. Right.
You have to survive.
Yeah.
But then, like, you know, if you have $1 million in the bank and then it's like your work is boring, then it's like, okay, fair enough.
Right.
But that's rich people problems. Not in the beginning. You just got to do shit. You just got to make it happen.
Yeah, to speak to that, I have a personal story. I like sharing personal stories because it allows people to know the type of people we are. Living in a middle class life like I did too, money was never a problem for me. You know, like, so I had to find other motivators that
were you
drive.
Upper or middle or lower middle?
I was just like middle. I'd say middle. I had everything I needed. I lived in a suburban household. I guess my parents drove a Mercedes. I guess upper middle. So I guess my parents were business owners too. So yeah, upper middle. So money was never really a problem for me. So other motivators were just like my freedom, bro. Like I hate being told to do with my time. And it got to the point where working at a bank in Connecticut, we had to take time off like 6 months in advance, right? Like you couldn't just like, hey, next week I got this thing that popped up. No, it has to be like 6 months in advance. And it was never a problem because I just went to school, I went to UConn and went to the bank and that was it. But when it was my girlfriend's birthday, and this was a month prior, girlfriend's birthday in the middle of summer, apparently a lot of the head CEOs and bosses that worked at the bank, that's the time that they like to take off to in the middle of the summer. When a month prior, I said, hey, I'm looking to take the 17th and 18th off for my girlfriend's birthday. I have 120 hours of paid time off. She looked up to me and was like, Alex, we could potentially look at that, but that's when it gets busy, and she was like trying to make me feel bad for trying to take time off. Bro, I went back into the back office. I was so pissed. And like, I didn't have anything crazy planned for her birthday, but just the idea of someone saying, hey, no, you should feel bad because there's other people at this job that might want to take that same time off. You shouldn't want to be taking that time off. And I worked Christmas the year before, all the other holidays, because again, I was like 21, 22-ish, so it was no big problem for me. 20, 21-ish. So it was that was like the last drop or the last nail in the coffin for me to be like, dude, this is ridiculous. I'm being told what to do on like a month in advance. I gotta be at a certain location at a certain time. So that was the motivator for me. I just hated being told when to eat. Hey, your lunch is at this time. You have 30 minutes.
You get a half hour.
I just out of the 3 freedoms, financial, time, and location freedom. Obviously, financial is most important, but for me, I'd argue time or location freedom
is not the most important.
Well, some people will, depending on like their situation, but for me, that doesn't have a family or anything like that. Location freedom, to be able to do what I want, where I want, at any time is the most important thing to me, bro.
So is it time or location?
It's both.
It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. I would say those two beat out financial. To be honest with you, bro. I gotta do what I need to do when I want to do it, man. At least growing up in a middle class lifestyle. Obviously, that would change if I was dead broke. But that was my motivator. And so my point of saying that is like everyone's motivator is gonna look a little different. I think most people will boil it down to money, which is fine. But
Because money is the ticket to all of that.
all those things, yeah. Once you have money, you have all those other two unlocked.
Well, you need to survive. Like,
Mhm.
if you're only focused on money and you already have 50K saved in the bank account, then like you got different problems. But like, yeah, I mean, if you have to survive, like money should be your motivator because
Yeah.
you need to.
Well, I guess the argument is like you can make money but not be in that type of environment, right? You can like take a pay cut where you're working less and still make enough to survive, but you have more like time freedom. So that's kind of the argument there. But yeah, I get what you're saying for sure.
What is your guys' opinions on? Because this is something that I've been focusing on a lot recently. Is like just really going after what you want. Because I've always been such a people pleaser, and I thought that was really interesting what you said, where the boss tried to make me feel bad and like, oh well, other people are taking it up, and it's like, dude, sorry, but I don't care because like this is what I want. And so people, especially in a religious point of view, like people are like, oh yeah, but you shouldn't want anything, you should only focus on what you need and not what you. But here's the thing, is that what if you want the best for other people? What if you want the best for your family? What if you want the best for yourself so that you can be the best version of yourself, so that you can show up for your family and show up for your church and show up for the people who need you? And you can't do that unless you do the things that you want. And when I say want, you have to define, okay, I want a yacht. Okay, well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like doing what you want and going after what you want and going after time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, going after what it is that you want out of this life for the time that you're here. Because for so long I've lived in that people pleasing version of myself, number one, and number two, in being scared to tell other people what it is that I actually want and how I feel and that kind of a thing. And so I think that they kind of tie close together, but they can be a little bit different in those circumstances. So what is your guys' version for where you're at right now and your experience with making what you want known?
Do you have a specific example to help paint the picture? Or I think you explained it fine, but I'm just curious. Do you have an example?
Just going after it, for example, I've been around a lot of people, like I said, specifically in regards to Christianity, where it's like when you say you are building a business and you want to make a lot of money and you're trying to hit these goals, and it's just completely unrelatable. They're like, why would you want to do that? Like, you don't want to just make $5K a month and survive? Like, no, that sounds horrible. It sounds terrible. What do you mean? Why do you want that, right? So I would say with that, I would say in my life too, specifically with women as well. Like I've been always very like afraid to voice what I actually want or going after. Like I see someone and I'm like, oh, she's cute. Like I want to go talk to her. Like I want to go after her. And I've always like suppressed myself from doing that because of social norms, or people will think I'm weird, or what if she doesn't want to talk to me? Like it doesn't matter, dude. It's what you want to do, so go do it. Like that's been a big thing for me the last year, but really the last like couple months.
Yeah, that's a good question. To the money point, like the way I look at it is, we were given a gift. We're all given multiple gifts, in my opinion. And money you shouldn't equate someone's how much money they have to their value, but a lot of the times the best way I like to look at it is, if you're given a gift, going after using that gift to the best of your ability is your responsibility. That's why we have it. So to me, I feel like I've put a lot of time, energy, and effort into learning and improving and sharpening my skills. Money is only like a reflection point of how well I was able to apply that. So if I'm putting the time, energy, and effort in to improve that skill, and the end outcome is to be able to impact others, I don't see anything wrong with that. But as far as like your overall question about people pleasing, it's something I struggled with as well. Growing up, I was always kind of like the least confrontational person. I like being cool with all different groups and types of people. I like a very diverse friend group, and it was because I didn't like um, stepping on people's toes, or just like I didn't like. I always like being around good times. I don't like seeing people argue or friends not getting along. But as I've grown older, I think you said at the start of this podcast, like we always fall to our standards. You learn very quickly the older you grow and how people start to individualize themselves and pursue their goals. That if you're not looking out for your own well being, a lot of the times you're capping off your full potential, right? There could be that girl that you eventually meet that could be your wife that you're now shooting yourself in the foot about, or the money that you could earn. Your standard of financial earnings, I think, has been way too low until we recently had that conversation. I think for someone that's been,
But I didn't even realize that, dude, until recently. I realized I was subconscious.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that that's what my standard was until it hit me.
Because as long as you're not trying to make more money just to chase materialistic things, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm just going to speak on myself here and then pass it to Trev. I've kind of just realized what the world really is. That's another great reason of moving out. You get exposed to what the world really is, and then it makes you more cutthroat. And that's another reason why I like business so much. You got to be cutthroat, man. Like, you got to kind of really not really care about other people's feelings a lot of the times. And as harsh as that sounds, I think the best way to handle it.
Not in a mean way.
Not in a mean way.
Don't be mean to people.
Right. But you kind of have to be like upfront and like, yo, look, this is how I am. Straightforward and just don't fluff it up.
Yep.
But yeah.
Going after what you want.
Yeah, I don't know. I think going after what you want is the wrong way to look at it. I think if you have a servant's heart, you get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's my perspective, at least, especially in regards to money.
But would you say that you're still technically going after what you want because you're just taking a different route? You're being like, oh, if I help these people, then I'm still going to get what I want, which I'm still going after what I want. You're just taking a different route.
I mean, kinda, but like, I think you can have the servant's heart, and then if you get what you want, great. If you don't, then it is what it is, and you just have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I think chasing money, I used to do that, but I mean, you still do to a degree. Like, the thing about running a business is you have an infinite potential. You can make as much money as possible, but there's always a battle between trying to center yourself from making as much money as possible just to do it or to buy materialistic shit versus having a servant's mentality. And I think in the months or in the seasons where I've made the most amount of money, actually it started from me focusing on helping people first, and then the money came after.
That is true. Yeah.
So it's tough. Like, do you go after what you want?
You can still go after what you want by helping other people. Because you're in pursuit of financial success, so you're going after that, which is what you want, by serving other people and helping them.
Yeah, but that's important to say that.
Right.
Because like, if you just say, I want this,
mm-hmm.
but you don't say the end by helping other people,
sure,
then you get into some messed up stuff.
Yeah, sure, of course.
So I think you should actually start with, by helping other people, maybe I'll make the money, maybe I won't.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And then if the money comes, great.
Yeah.
You were rewarded. If not,
right. But I would say it's impossible. It's impossible to not get what you want and find success if you're truly helping other people.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally impossible. Because at some point, someone is going to give you the thing that you want because you helped enough people. So yeah, like you said, just if you keep going, there's no way you can fail. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So, sorry.
One last note to add to that point of the people pleasing thing as well. I started I'm still working on it, but I'm slowly trying to change my mindset to the how can I make as much money to how can I maximize this gift I was given or skill I was giving. I like that point too.
Money is a byproduct.
Money's a byproduct. Yeah. If you put money after the helping people and then how can I maximize the skill, it just comes. And to Trevor's point, I've always made the most money when I wasn't focused on all right, why isn't this working? Why am I not making the most money with this? Blah, 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 blah. And just like literally directing my focus to other things.
And ironically enough, too, the thing that nobody's talked about so far is the fact that people pleasing, when you're people pleasing, your thought is to serve people, but that doesn't mean you're actually serving people. Sometimes you not
Right.
doing the opposite of that is what's actually best for the person.
Yeah. Tough love sometimes, yeah.
All right, boys. So, what's our quick 5-minute ender here? What's our plan? Oh, sorry, Mike, if that was loud. What's our plan to take over Tampa? We have a bold claim with Kings of Tampa here.
Yeah, I know.
So what is our vision for that? Because plans, we could go on forever. That could be too long.
Yeah.
What is our vision for it? Why do we want to do it? And we touched on it a little bit in the beginning with like we want to really set the standards, and I think that's why we want that. But
Yeah.
if we want to each individually go into that.
Yeah. I think like every major city you look at around the U.S., it's just kind of the same story. Everyone is trying to. It's like it's a rich people's rat race if you think about it. The same thing that we clown on 9-to-5ers for, like that rat race.
Jeez.
It's the same thing in the rich lifestyle where it's like you have to have these materialistic things. You have to chase a nice car. You have to look a certain way. We're trying to kind of dispel that, especially for younger entrepreneurs. Or even if you're older watching this too, but like kind of dispel that concept of like you gotta have a certain look and style. And don't get me wrong, like at some point I'd love for all of us to be driving a certain type of car or live in a certain area. But the core thing and the message that we're trying to stick with is like community, Christ, connection, and just like not necessarily needing to have this facade where you act and talk a certain way. That's kind of the name. And the way I plan on doing that is being a conduit for those of you looking to get into marketing and e-commerce, whether you're looking to become a beginner, learn it from the affiliate side, or if you're a brand owner looking to explode your brand, and then kind of just connect that way. That's kind of my game plan there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily trying to be the king of Tampa. I'm trying to be the king of the world. No, I'm kidding.
After Trevor talks about being all humble and serving other people, and then he's like, king of the world.
World domination.
Well, you know, it's ironic you say that because we were actually talking about this last night. It's like we were talking about the fact that money, or the Bible says money is the root of all evil, or the love of money is the root of all evil.
We were talking about this last night at our men's group for context.
We were also comparing and contrasting money versus power, and how chasing power leads to evil. But like all evil is created from chasing power, but just because you're chasing power doesn't mean you're going to do evil with it. And so,
right.
You know, the way that I see it is like I'm trying to get as much influence as possible and be as powerful as possible, but I'm going to do it for the right reason because I trust myself that I'm going to do what I need to do with it and steward it the right way. And so really just focusing on building influence, building personal brands, building social media so it can help more people and eventually just bring more people to God.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, basically, same thing. Wanna have influence over people in the right way, because and I say this like I say this because it's truth. I'm not just repeating it to repeat it, but I'm not just saying it to say it, but I've had so many people throughout my life tell me like, I'm very appreciative of the influence and hand that you've had in my life. And I know, like you guys both said, like we have been blessed with gifts of influence, of knowledge, of wisdom. You know, that's the most common request that I have of God, just like King Solomon in 1 Kings is the prayer for wisdom. And so we have been blessed with these gifts, as also a lot of other people are, and we want to take those gifts that we have, take that knowledge that we have, and take that power and influence that we have and use it for good and really build something. And we've kind of found Tampa to be that hub where it's on the up and up. We have the right people coming in. we have a solid base already, and it can be a very good hub for a lot of people who are looking for a better life. And even if even if you don't like the city stuff as much, I mean, you can come out in the suburbs. You can drive an hour or two inland, and there's homesteads and farms out there, which is probably where I'll end up in a few years. Like, still being close to Tampa, but just having that ability to live the life that you want. I think it's such a great location for that, to really build. It has a lot of good foundations and building blocks. So, yeah, cool guys. Well, first podcast, very solid. We'll see you guys on the next one. We don't have a schedule yet for anything, but we're gonna start doing lots of stuff.
All our socials should be in the description.
Yep.
Follow us.
All right, boys. See ya.
All right.